Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Omega Mondays here at laughingplace.com. I'm Rebekah Mosley, the co-founder of Laughing Place, and with me, as always, is our editorial director for all things Star Wars here at Laughing Place, Mike Celestino.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Okay, I'm going to switch this over because this is confusing me. Okay. Okay. So we're here live, everyone, for Omega Mondays. We talk about the Bad Batch episode that just aired on Friday, along with all kinds of Star Wars headlines. And currently that includes some of the Comic-Con stuff. So it'll be a fun event here. Are you able to hear me okay, Mike? Because my audio on my end is very weird today.
I hear you fine, but the image looks like choppy to me. I'm not sure if that's just on my end or if that's everywhere too.
Okay. I will hope that somebody will let me know if other people are having it. Let's see.
It's kind of coming and going.
Okay. I'll work on that as you guide us through a little bit of what was happening with Bad Batch.
Yeah, this is episode 13 of Bad Batch season 1. It was called Infested. It took place entirely on the planet Ord Mantell, and it was about the Bad Batch coming back to Sid's bar and finding that Sid had been kind of taken over by this Deveronian character named Roland, who was working for he was working for some crime syndicate, but he was working with the Pikes, and then they had to help Sid basically get back her business by stealing this spice that they had in the back office and taking it through these underground mines. I don't know. This episode didn't really do it for me. I don't know how you felt. It wasn't really my cup of tea.
I would have to agree that this was not one of my favorite episodes. But I did like some of the elements that we were introduced to, though. This additional syndicate, these bug creatures. I thought they were kind of interesting. The Earlings.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. As far as just overall, it felt very. I think this was the first one that truly felt like filler.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I see that word thrown around a lot, and I see people complaining about that word being thrown around a lot, but I think it definitely applies to this episode. I think anytime you can just like remove an episode and it just doesn't affect anything, like there's no character growth or story momentum, it just, I think it counts as filler. Also, the bug thing felt very cliche to me, and also like Sid kept making such a big deal about these bugs, and then they were just like, they were so easy to deal with. They would just, they just respond to light. All you have to do is drop a light bomb on them and they're fine. It's like, even the bug element of it felt like filler to me. Like we just needed something for them to be afraid of. And then it ended up just being no problem whatsoever. So yeah, unless this Roland guy pays off later, I would say there was not much to this episode. You could probably just skip it.
I was going to say that Zach points out that the Pikes are a familiar syndicate name. We heard it in Clone War. No, Rebels.
Yeah, they've been all over. I think they've been in probably both Clone Wars and Rebels. And yeah, they were in Clone Wars season 7 as well. And yeah, they were working with Crimson Dawn. These are all just like the different crime syndicates that exist in Star Wars, and sometimes they interact with each other. Yeah, the Pikes have been around.
I guess
they're even solo a Star Wars story.
That's right. I guess as far as kind of pushing the narrative forward, I guess this moment between Omega and is this Roland?
Yes.
It would be one of the elements where we kind of learn a little bit more about Omega, and that her willingness to forgive, even though, kind of all the trouble that he put them through, the dangers that he in essence put them in. She was willing to still try and find the good in him. And that was, I guess if you're looking for something to kind of say, why was this story here? I feel like it was kind of to let us know a little bit more about what makes Omega tick, what's kind of at her core.
Yeah, I was surprised that she gave him the lizard at the end. Ruby, the lizard that she had kept as a pet. So he got to keep that. I guess that's the little bit of like continuity that we're going to get out of this, is that Ruby ended up with Roland.
And then the other element that struck me was that the moment where he gets his horn cut off.
Yeah.
For me, it felt familiar, and so I went digging around a little bit, and I rediscovered the Broken Horn Syndicate, which is another one of these syndicates. And so my thought was, oh, well, maybe this is some sort of backstory for that. But in looking at Wikipedia, that wouldn't be correct, because even though it's a similar peoples, the story behind that particular organization was that his horn was broken in a fight. So it seems that even though we have kind of, I don't know, for me, it was like one of those things that was kind of strange that you have something that was indicative that even in the casual like me sparked a memory, was actually like seemingly not related. So
I didn't make that connection at all. I didn't remember the broken horn thing. So I'm not sure if that's supposed to be tied into that.
Yeah, so it was just like I say, it was one of those things where I dove in and then I discovered, nope, there's already an established canon, I guess, for that. So I shouldn't see this as some sort of backstory to that previous thing that I had somewhere in the recesses of my brain. Kidder pointing out that Kevin Michael Richardson does a lot of voice talent, including on Clone Wars. So there you go. Let's see. And Zach is also commenting that the Pike showed up in Solo.
Mm-hmm.
And I would agree that I hope that we get back to that tense storyline of Crosshair kind of hunting down his former brothers.
Yeah, well, there's only 3 episodes left in this season, so I imagine they're going to get back into the more pressing matters.
One would hope. Over in the War of the Bounty Hunters, there were quite a few storylines over there that you had the pleasure of sharing with the LP readers.
So the first of the one-shot tie-in issues, Jabba the Hutt, came out last week, and actually it was less about Jabba the Hutt and more about introducing a new bounty hunter named Deva Lompop, who is created by Justina Ireland, who wrote this issue. There's Deva there. So this character is of a species that lives many hundreds of years. So she's going to be not only in the original trilogy era, but she's going to show up in the High Republic era as well. But they are introducing her here in War of the Bounty Hunters. And this issue is about how she is tasked with tracking down Boba Fett for Jabba the Hutt, because Jabba has put a price on Boba Fett's head, thanks to him not delivering the Han Solo frozen in carbonite when he was supposed to. Then we also get flashbacks to the first time that Deva Lompop met Boba Fett while working for Jabba the Hutt, and they had like a little mission together. It's a nice long issue, and I like the new character. She's very colorful and interesting, and I'm curious to see where they go with her. I think my only real complaint would be calling this Jabba the Hutt, because Jabba the Hutt is like a supporting character in this story. He's not the focus here. So they kind of wanted to introduce that new bounty hunter, and I get that's what they were going for, but they kind of relied on the familiar name of Jabba the Hutt to sell the issue, which bugs me a little bit, but otherwise I liked it.
It seems it seems like Star Wars really benefits from these species that exist for hundreds and hundreds of years, because it's a very nice familiar arc to to your storytelling. Kind of, we have Yoda, we have Chewie. So these are both characters that are hundreds and hundreds of years old. Yes.
Tomorrow, the book by Justina Ireland, same author, in the High Republic, which is called Out of the Shadows, comes out, And that book, I'm not going to say who, but a couple more characters that we hadn't heard about yet in the High Republic who are long-lived that we're familiar with from the original trilogy and other eras pop up or are mentioned at the very least in the High Republic. So heads up for that.
Wow.
And then the second comic book that I read and reviewed last week was Darth Vader number 14. This was all about this character, which at least they told us on the cover. Look, it's all about her. So good, correct, true advertising there. And her name is Moore, Administrator Moore. Her species is Umbaran, and she is kind of one of the Palpatine's like aides, sort of. And you see her in the prequel. She like stands next to Palpatine when he's like taking power at the end of Revenge of the Sith and stuff. But this is all about her like plotting against Darth Vader. Because I guess, you know, among the villains, among the kind of Sith acolytes in the Empire, because she is force powered. She does have force abilities. So they're all kind of competing for the favor of Emperor Palpatine, you know. And this is all about how her like schemes to get Vader out of the way and how Vader kind of, this is a cool panel, how Vader kind of catches up with her. So she's got IG-88 working for her. And then Vader's working with this guy, Ochi of Bestoon, who we saw in Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I like this issue a lot too. And it also ends with, I guess it's been out for almost a week, so I can say it ends with the issue catching up with what we saw in War of the Bounty Hunters #2, the miniseries, where Vader is arriving at this auction, the Crimson Dawn auction, where they're selling Han Solo and Carbonite. So all the issues this month are kind of revolving around that auction. What was the question? So were you shocked when Vader showed up in War of the Bounty Hunters in person rather than having one of his goons being there? Yeah, well, this whole issue is about why that happened, because really that woman, Moore, was supposed to be like the Imperial representative at the auction, but Vader didn't trust her, so he went on his own. And he really wants to get Han and Carbonite because he thinks it's his key now to getting Luke Skywalker back.
Well, that would seem to be a flaw inherent in that there's two, right? I mean, if there's two, that would really narrow down your pool of opportunity.
There's two what?
With the whole Sith mantra belief system, you know, that notion of there's only two. Like I say, it would very much narrow down your pool of opportunity, man. Yeah. It's like a smaller window than the Olympics.
Yes.
That come around, you know, every 4 years.
Yeah, it's tough. You really have to fight your way into becoming one of the only two Sith Lords that are allowed to exist.
Right? So,
yeah. Bob Newell is right. I should have said spoiler alert. Well, I'm just hoping if you care about these comics, I hope that you've read them already.
Right.
I'm sorry.
These are we give you a few days and then we chat about them here. Let's see.
And then lastly in the comics this week was the High Republic #6. Oh, sorry, not the High Republic. The High Republic Adventures #6 from IDW. And this is the more like family-friendly type stories coming out of the High Republic comics. And this is about the Jedi Padawans traveling to the planet of Nal Hutta, which is the Hutt homeworld. And they're supposed to negotiate a peace treaty with the Hutts on behalf of the Republic. The only problem is when they get there, the Jedi Master that they get there with enters into like a hibernative state, which is like unexpected for them. So they have to handle it on their own, which I thought was funny. And I actually really like this issue a lot. You know, I keep saying like Daniel Jose Older, who's the writer of this comic, his writing keeps growing and growing on me. I wasn't a big fan of his novel Last Shot, but this stuff with High Republic Adventures, it's really fun. And I think that he captures the fun of Star Wars. There's a Rancor. Cool. There's a Rancor here, a blue Rancor, which I thought was interesting. And then there's like a band of pirates that show up. which I really like.
The panel that caught my eye was kind of this Jedi babies one down here.
Jedi babies. Yeah, so they're talking about the issue opens with this, and they're talking about this Holovid series that they used to watch when they were kids growing up in the Jedi Academy, and they were talking about how they know it's all kind of like made up. So it's interesting to hear the stories that the Jedi were told as they're being trained of these like semi-fictional Jedi characters that exist like in their own mythology, and how they were kind of modeling themselves after that. So I like that a lot too. There's really a lot to like in the High Republic adventures right now.
So they really are building out kind of that Jedi world, letting us see much more deeply kind of that whole I'll use civilization. What kind of the ins and outs of the Jedi. You mentioned like even to the point of the stories that they would have been growing up and been influenced by.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I keep thinking about checking it out. I haven't dived in.
Honestly, this is the first one of the High Republic adventures. This is the first one where I was like, oh, this is actually really good. Like the first arc was just so to me, but I'm into it now. Like now that they're with the Hutts and everything, like I don't know. Also, I'm gonna say spoiler alert here again. So plug your ears if you don't care about the High Republic, and if you haven't read this issue. They mentioned Jabba the Hutt for the first time in the High Republic, and we know that Jabba is like, I think he's like 600 years old in Return of the Jedi, so he's alive during the High Republic era. He's gonna be part of the story, so that's exciting as well.
Wow. Okay. So we'll get to see even more of his history and perhaps what led to his reaction when Luke walks in all Jedi. Now we'll have even more backstory to his encounters with the Jedi. So Zach is asking, the Jedi are dealing with monsters called the Drengir?
Drengir. It's Drengir, which is these like sentient plant monsters.
That's right.
And they actually show up in this issue. Another little spoiler alert. So yeah, they are currently dealing with that in the comics quite a bit. Definitely a big part of it.
And continuing with the High Republic, there was a lot of news that came out over Comic-Con at home, and Mike was there at home watching to let us know all about it.
Yeah, I was here hunched over my laptop instead of wishing that I was down in San Diego, but it didn't happen again this year. But yeah, all 5 High Republic authors, Kevin Scott, Charles Soule, Justina Ireland, Claudia Gray, Daniel Jose Older were there as part of this virtual panel. With the moderator was Christina Ariel, the host of the High Republic show. And they talked about the current new releases that came out. The new books were Into the Storm, The Rising Storm, Race to Crash Point Tower, and Out of the Shadows. So those are the new current High Republic novels that are being released. And then they also announced Wave 3, which is coming out in January. Do you have those titles? Because I don't remember them.
Let me see.
Offhand.
Is that the Light of the Jedi Goes Dark titles?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let me pull that up for you. I've got it right here.
The exciting thing for me, right there. The exciting thing for me is that Claudia Gray, who is one of my very favorite current Star Wars authors, is writing the adult, quote unquote, adult novel in the High Republic Wave 3. And that's called The Fallen Star. A lot of people are theorizing what that title might mean. A lot of different interesting theories floating around out there. Eye of the Storm is a comic book mini-series. It's only 2 issues, but he said they're 30 pages long each by Charles Soule, and it's going to delve into the backstory of Marchion Ro, who is the leader of the Nile, the villain group, the villain faction in the High Republic. And then go back up there for a sec. Yeah, there you go. There's a Marchion Ro. Mission to Disasters by Justina Ireland. That's the middle grade novel for Wave 3. And then Midnight Horizon is the young adult novel by Daniel Jose Older. And they're all coming out starting in January. So I'm excited for that.
So lots going on still within the High Republic. Like Mike mentioned, those come out next year. So January of 2022, they're getting everyone excited about that early on. So It's amazing to me just how much Star Wars content continues to arrive on our doorstep, whether it's in print or on screen.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because we were talking about how it almost sort of feels like a dead period as far as like Star Wars like excitement goes, and yet there's this still new content coming out every week, and we're just still kind of like, I think everybody's kind of waiting for the next live action stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to come out in December with the Book of Boba Fett and everything. But yeah, I think if people are interested in getting new Star Wars content, you got to turn to the comics and novels and the animated series on Disney Plus and stuff too. Yeah, there's always going to be new stuff coming out, so it's pretty exciting.
And we're still awaiting that 1 hour episode on The Mandalorian to see if we can learn more about that show's timetable. So we've got we're on the edge of our seats for a lot of things. As part of Comic-Con, Her Universe had a fashion show. Her Universe is a fashion brand that celebrates pop culture. And so, of course, as part of this were several Star Wars related items. The founder of Her Universe, Ashley Eckstein, of course, the voice of Ahsoka Tano, and she appeared in a pantsuit inspired by the character Ahsoka and designed by an alum of Her Universe, Andrew McLean. I have 3 fashions that were specifically from the kind of inspired by the world of Star Wars. We have McKenna Fellows, who designed this dress called Portals, the World Between Worlds, obviously Star Wars Rebels. You can see in the details is it Moray, the bird figure that I think it's Moray or Morai.
Yeah, that sounds right.
This is the Watcher owl that kind of hovers over Tano throughout her journeys, connected to the Force. So you've got that element. You've got the Loth wolves around the hem of the skirt. So that was one of the designs there that was featured. We also have This Is the Way by designer Vivian Lee, celebrating the Mandalorian, inspired by the Beskar steel. Let me pop over.
Wow, that's
here.
cool.
Yeah. So just really stunning work. Inspired by the Armorer this design was, and the pattern was like the Beskar. This is my favorite of the ones that are from that Star Wars universe. And then also we have from the Lady Katarina, we have this one called Vader in Vogue. And this one you have to see in motion. So I'm going to click on the little Instagram video that they have here, because this train transforms into the Death Star.
That's crazy.
Yeah, nice and dramatic. Very, very well done. Quite the transition. Nice for the runway.
That's really cool.
Yeah, these were all being voted on throughout the weekend. I think the voting ended on Sunday evening, so now we will await the tally and learn the prize. It'll be divided between the viewers and the designer judges, and then they will have the opportunity to do a Jurassic World line is my recollection. And if you have a chance, Laughing Place has gathered up the various designs. As Mike Mack points out, there was a really great WandaVision design as well. There were some other, obviously it's a celebration of pop culture, so you found numerous. I think there was even like a Ghostbusters kind of inspired by Stay Puft. So lots of fun within the Her Universe fashion show there for Comic-Con at Home. Let's see, Mike, I guess next up we can talk about the Hasbro items that are coming.
Yeah, I saw this post. I didn't even realize they had made these announcements, but it looks like mostly they're carbonized versions of figures that had existed already in the Black Series.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. My computer is a little slow at the moment, and that's the wrong window. So there you go.
Okay.
Give me one moment, Mike. Sure. I'll pull it up for you. But yeah, it is. It's mostly carbonite figures. as I try and pull up the right window. I think that's it now. Ta-da! There we go. I will scroll down. Coming in spring of 2022. We've got
they've got carbonized, the heavy Mandalorian, Scout Trooper.
And then we've also got the Shore Trooper.
Right.
And these are pre-order from Target items.
I don't really get these figures, I have to be honest. Like, I've already got all these characters. They just do these carbonized versions, which is just, they're just kind of shinier, which is weird. Like, I don't know who's asking for these, or I'm curious to see how they're selling, because I just don't get it. Like, I just kind of want the figures to look how they look in the show or the movies, and then I don't know. I don't understand why they need to make just kind of weird, different versions of them.
And then at Walmart, they're going to have figures 6-inch figures based on this animated style, right?
Yeah. So this is the original Clone Wars series before the Dave Filoni version. This is the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars animated series that aired on Cartoon Network between episodes 2 and 3 when they were being released. So it looks like they're getting new figures.
Yes, several new figures. And then we've got a few new ones coming to the 3 3/4-inch vintage collection. Is this a new character available, or are these characters we've seen before, but this is kind of a new way of presenting them? Are they familiar to you?
I mean, I know them from the show. I don't know if there have been figures of this character. What was her name? These are characters I don't... I can't read it. I can't read it, but
if I make it bigger, does that help? Ayla, is it Ayla
Secura? And then I think the other one was Luminara Unduli.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
I'm sure at least Luminara must have had a figure in the past, but I don't know about the other one.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because I know both of these are not as, I don't know, for a while there they weren't doing kind of, I don't want to say secondary characters, but I'll say secondary characters. They weren't doing quite as many of those for a little bit there, but now it seems like they're stepping back into that that element of the story for the 3 3/4 like these. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited for people who want to like flesh out their collection, offer more of those figures for their shelves.
And then that one is Barriss Offee, who's I think a kind of a fan favorite character. One we just passed.
Yeah.
And then you've got Clone Troopers.
Yep. So quite a few new characters coming to pre-order at Walmart and Target. They're all collected in this story on Laughing Place, so you can get all the details there. Even battle droids. 3 3/4-inch battle droid.
It's very cool that they're giving some love to this currently non-canonical Clone Wars cartoon. So, I mean, obviously battle droids exist in the canon as well, but the fact that they're actually branding them as being from the first Clone Wars series is fun.
Right. Let's see, Mike. Next, I guess we can talk about the Galactic Starcruiser poster. So I usually have 2 monitors, which makes life so much easier for me.
Yeah.
And today I only have 1, and so it's a little bit more challenging for me to pull up the content for you. I'm not as smooth on the transitions.
While you're doing that, I'll show this off. I got this in the mail. I had pre-ordered this like months and months ago. One of these 50th anniversary Lucasfilm Black Series figures from Hasbro, and this is Jackson, the Lepin, I think his species name is, and he's the kind of rabbit-esque character from the original Marvel Star Wars comic book, and he's now been reintroduced in the canon as part of the Star Wars Adventures comics by Kevin Scott. And I haven't taken him out of the package because I love the package so much, but there's what the figure looks like. When they make these figures, they kind of try to make him look like he would look in live action, I think, more than what he looks like in the comics. But
I love it.
It's pretty fun.
I like that a lot. That, like you say, that looks like it stepped straight out of if he was brought into a movie.
Yeah.
So for the Galactic Starcruiser, we got a poster. Gives us a little bit of a taste of some of the adventures we'll find at Walt Disney World at this new, what I'm calling an all-inclusive resort experience.
Yeah, pretty interesting. I'm very, very curious about this. And we see that, it's all stuff that we kind of knew about already. Lightsaber training. Looks like people are maybe eating or playing sabacc down there at the bottom left. Can't really tell.
Looks like a little bit of both. Yeah, some cards, some food.
And then obviously a droid, Chewbacca, enjoying a drink at a bar, which we know would be part of it. I just really like this artwork quite a bit. It reminds me of some of the old Drew Struzan posters.
I think for me, only Kylo and Chewie are like Star Wars specific, identifiable characters. I think
that's just like a Twi'lek.
Yeah. Are just from the same planet world. Similarly, we have a scavenger type gal who to me is reminiscent of Rey, but yet isn't Rey. And then the droid in the front is an astromech, but not our R2. So yeah, and then the ship itself is in the ship you're supposed to be aboard is in the upper right, correct, Mike?
Yeah, the Halcyon, there in the top right.
So I wonder if that means that you're going to have a moment that feels that they want you to feel as if your ship is under attack, right? That you're having to, in essence, be rescued from your ship.
That would not surprise me if that.
So lots of fun, and then we can see the spires of Batuu as well. And
we know that
that's an element.
Part of the journey is going to be an excursion to Batuu. We've talked about that before. Where I'm like, well, I'm paying, to be aboard the cruise ship. Why would I want to go to Galaxy's Edge that I've seen a bunch already? Like, take time away from the Starcruiser. So I wonder if that's like optional, or it'd be interesting to see if there's like different stuff happening on Batuu while you're there as part of the Galactic Starcruiser experience. But
I was going to say, I think it could be fun if they did it kind of an outside the hours of the park kind of thing too, right? So that it's kind of a unique, maybe more in depth, more role-playing-esque experience within the world. That might be another way to kind of bring you into that the Batuu experience. Speaking of things that arrived in the mail, let me show you. This item has been on my son's wish list for a very, very long time now. It is old. It is a well-loved toy, but usually they go for like $500 to $1,200 if they're in mint condition on eBay. And we found this one for a steal of a price.
Yeah.
But under 200, I'll say.
Oh, great.
Under 200. But it's like you push the button on the back.
Wow.
And the doors all open. And the reason why this one's more expensive is it has 5 doors. I guess they did another one later that only has 3 doors.
Okay.
Because actually inside the vehicle, it only has 3 rows of seats. Right. But he really wanted the one that looked authentic from the outside. That's what was key to him.
Right.
And what was damaging to the pocketbook. So
well, I understand that.
So while we were in Florida, vacationing, we were joking around about it. I forget why the topic even came up. And he just happened to look on eBay, and we found a buy it now, like I say, at a steal of a price. And so this was waiting for us when we got back to Florida. It's only missing a few things, like the R2 unit that sits up here, the astromech. But you can. I have a different R2, so you put it there, and then when you push it.
Oh, neat.
It plays little sounds, and it has a card you can put in the front that, depending on what scene it's showing, whether it's, I want to say it's Hoth or Tatooine, the C-3PO dialogue in the vehicle will change. So
did
yeah,
that must have come out around the time the Adventures Continue?
Exactly. Yeah. And then shortly thereafter they transitioned to the, like I say, the little bit smaller three door model. So, but the reason I bring that up is because Behind the Attraction actually took us to learn on Disney Plus. It actually was about one of the five episodes was about Star Tours. So we got to learn a little bit more about that. I watched it this morning. Have you seen it yet, Mike?
I also watched it this morning. So I liked it a lot, actually.
Yeah, I thought Tony Betty did a great job writing it up for Laughing Place as well, because as he pointed out, you were a good deal of the way through the story of Star Tours when you look at the clock and you realize, wait, there's still more time. We're going to get to learn more about Batuu.
Yeah, they did Star Tours, The Adventures Continue, then Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run, then Rise of the Resistance, and Galaxy's Edge in general. I really liked it. I loved hearing from all the interview subjects. Tony Baxter had some good info. There was some footage that I had never seen before of like that footage of the ride vehicle being lifted via crane and put into the show building. Had you seen that before?
I had not. Well, if I had, I'd forgotten. I loved that. I enjoyed how much visual we got of the Star Speeder's motion. Like, just because I haven't seen as much of that, like just the wide range. I've seen like little bits here and there, but I felt like I just had a much longer visual of the motion of the simulator itself. So I enjoyed that. I loved learning about all kind of the serendipitous moments that led to its creation, how they were struggling with kind of how do you have this thrill ride, and then oh, hey, visit these people in London. Oh, hey, see these 3 panels of art just happening to be on the wall where Lucas was walking by and imagine, just little moments like that throughout the episode. So
I liked
out of that.
Learning a little bit more about the projector. I found to be interesting as a former projectionist.
Yeah.
The 70 millimeter loop cabinet that they called it, which was in the back of the ship, like so neat that they were able to figure out a way to have that mounted aboard the ride vehicle. It's pretty cool.
Oh, and Zach, that was the Star Speeder. So from Star Tours, I should have said that specifically just to be sure. So yeah, so that's on Disney Plus. It's part of the new Behind the Attraction series that I think just dropped on Saturday. Maybe it was Friday. Maybe it was last week.
I think it was Wednesday last week.
Wednesday. They do that Wednesday thing now. Yeah.
Yeah, but I had watched the Jungle Cruise one and the Haunted Mansion one, but I happened to coincidentally be up to the Star Tours one. I was like, oh, I should watch it to be able to talk about it today. Yeah. So I watched it this morning.
I saw it on my list of topics that we were going to talk about today. So I thought, I should be sure to watch that this morning.
Yeah.
So, and I know we'll be talking about that more later today here on the Laughing Place YouTube with our Disney Parks Talk Live is that at 4 today, Mike? Yeah, that's
4 o'clock. Yep.
Yeah, at 4 o'clock. So be sure to tune in because we're going to have a lot more talk about that. I suspect we'll talk about the Jungle Cruise premiere and other fun things that have been happening at the park. So be sure to tune in later for that. Zach is asking about the Ahsoka series. Have you been following the spoilers or teasers on that? I know I haven't been. I've kind of been shying away from. I
have no idea what I know who Sabine is, obviously, and I wouldn't be surprised if she shows up on Ahsoka, but don't know what he's referencing there. I don't think anything has come out officially about that. So.
Okay, so we'll keep our ears open though, Zach. If we do hear anything official, we'll be sure to bring it here to Star Wars Headlines. Over at Who's the Bossk Pod, you're continuing your series on the Lucasfilm 50th anniversary, and this week with the adorable tale of dinosaurs.
Yeah, so George Lucas was involved with The Land Before Time, the original film, and rewatched it, and we talked about it on the Who's the Bossk podcast this week with our mutual friend and coworker Benji Breitbart. So you can go and listen to that on Who's the Bossk.
Very, very cool. Oh, that's I should do that. I'd be interested to hear what you two think of that particular. It's an adorable film. It was a favorite of my brother, I think. I know it played a lot in my house, and I think it was a brother who was particularly fond of it. So I'm glad you got to revisit that title and also see how it fits into the whole Lucasfilm story, because it's kind of a surprising, to me, it was a surprising chapter when I saw the list of films and topics that were going to be part of Who's the Bossk. Land Before Time was not one that naturally jumped into my head. So.
Well, he's actually credited on this one. I've done some where he was involved and didn't even get credited. So his name is one of the first that appears at the top of the movie. So it would definitely had to be included. Yeah,
for sure. Well, I guess that's it for us here at Omega Mondays, where we talk about the recent Bad Batch, and then we also bring the latest Star Wars headlines to you. Mike's reviews of the numerous comic books and various books that are out there. If you're just joining us now, rewind, check it out. We talk about all kinds of Star Wars fun stuff. Also, if you enjoyed this stream, please give us a like. It helps other people find us. If you subscribe to the stream, you'll learn about all the other times that we go live. We're often inside the Disney parks or other theme parks around the U.S. and the globe, and just doing our best to kind of give you a little window into the fun happening here and there and everywhere. So I guess for now, I'm Rebekah Mosley, and over there is Mike Celestino. See you later. Bye.
Hi.